Good morning, everyone. A good tavach. Hope you have a wonderful Shabbos. Yeah, I got my nice little shave on Friday after Tisha B'Av. Baruch Hashem. Today's shiur we learn is the initials Aaron Nachman from the Kohen, Shem Shem Aliyah, and before Stem, if you saw Baruch Aliyah, Baruch Aliyah, Baruch Aliyah, B'Shar Bracha, Avin Yisrael Risha, Chayav at the Rebbeinu, for Stem, B'Soch Shar Chali Yisrael. And Shefer Bracha V'Atzlacha V'Tzvi Noach Bracha Baruch Aliyah in all his endeavors. And the schools for Shmuel David and Miriam, and for Tzvi Ben Chana for Zivugim B'Krovov. Okay, here we go. We're learning Perek test of Sanhedrin. We're continuing on with um, the punishments for people. What the punishment is for people who are executed by burning. That's another one of the four Mises based in. We already discussed a few of them last week, and now we're continuing on. So again, Perek test Mishnah Aleph Elu Hein Hanisraf. These are the ones who are sentenced to burnings. Reifa Habala Isha Uvita, someone who has bia with a woman and her daughter. First, he has bia with his mother-in-law, and that after having married her daughter. I mean, he marries a woman, and then he has bia with her mother. Ubas Cohen Shazinsa, or the daughter of and the married daughter of a Cohen who commits adultery. That's also death by Sreifa. Yesh Bechal Isha Uvita. Included in this verse, including the pasuk about a woman and her daughter, are the following relatives: Bito, Ubas Beno. A man's daughter, the daughter of his daughter, and the daughter of his son. Ubas Ishto, Ubas Bito, Ubas Beno. The daughter of his wife, the daughter of his wife's daughter, and the daughter of his wife's son. Chamoso, ve'em chamoso, ve'em chamef. His mother of his mother-in-law, and the mother of his father-in-law. All those extensions are all punishable with sreifa. These are the ones who are sentenced to beheading. Harashest, a murderer, and the people of a corrupted town who worshipped idols. Okay. So we just touched about murder. Let's talk about that a second. If a murderer struck his friend with a stone or with a piece of iron, or if he held him down in the water or in fire so he could not escape from there, the mace and he died, chayiv, the murderer is chayiv misa. Or if he pushed him into the water or into fire, he was able to escape from there, the mace, but he died anyway, pater, he is not chayiv for execution. Even though he pushed him into a dangerous situation, like pushed him into the water, pushed him off the bridge, pushed him into the fire, it was possible, slightly possible, for the victim to have escaped. Therefore, according to the Mishnah, the so-called murderer would not be chayiv for the guy's misa, even though he was the one that put the guy into a dangerous situation, according to the Mishnah. Shisa boas hakelev, shisa boas hanachash. If someone incited a dog against another person or incited a snake against him, and the animal bit that person and killed him, pater, again, he is not chayiv for execution because he caused the victim's death only indirectly. He boas hanachash, so if he stuck the snake's teeth into him and thereby killed him, maybe he would mechayiv. If he rules that he's chayiv to execution because this is a direct act of murder, Chachamim pochim, but the Chachamim rule that he is not chayiv because this is only indirect. Hamakes chavera ben be'evon ben be'egrov. If one person struck another with a stone or with his fist, Ramduhu lemisa, and the judges assessed that he would die from the attack. The hukal mimasha haya, but he improved enough that the judge that the dayanim changed their minds and assessed that he will live. And then he got worse and died. Chayiv, and the killer is Chayiv Misa. Since the judge's first assessment was that the victim would die, and he indeed died without even making a full recovery, without ever making a full recovery, and the killer is responsible for his death. Rabbi Nechemia disagrees, and he says, Pater, he's not chayiv for execution. Because there's support to the idea that his death resulted from some other cause besides for the attack. Um, according to Nechemia, the fact that the victim's health improved after the attack showed it was not the attack that killed him, but some other cause. If the judges originally assessed that the victim would live and then he got worse and died, everyone agreed that the attacker is not chayiv because the death was probably caused by another fact. Maybe he got pneumonia, maybe he got the flu. The situation changed, then he's not. Mishnah Beis. The scav in the Haragas Adam. Someone intended to kill an animal, instead he killed a person instead. The Haragas Israel already intended to kill an idolater, but accidentally killed a Jew instead. Then it fell them, but Haragas Makiyama, or he intended to kill a baby that will not live, but accidentally killed one that will live instead. Pater is not Chai Misa because he did not intend to commit an act of murder that carries the death penalty. Someone intended to hit another person on his hips, although when the blow is not strong enough to kill him had it landed on his hips, but accidentally landed on the victim's chest instead. And was strong enough to kill him on his chest, and he died. But the murderer is not Chayiv Misa because he did not intend to kill. You get extra padding on the hips as opposed to the heart, which is a lot more sensitive. So you use the same force and you hit the wrong spot, then according to Mishnah, the guy is not Chayiv Misa. Um, and even if he had witnesses who warned him, like, do not hit his hip because you might miss him and hit him in the chest instead of kill him, which will make you Chayiv Misa. The warning itself is invalid since it's only based on a possibility, not on an actual fact. Therefore, he would not be Chayiv Misa according to the Mishnah. The sky being like liable. If someone intended to hit the victim on his chest, and the blow was strong enough to kill him, had it landed on his chest. He accidentally landed on his hips instead. Low higher back and it was not strong enough to kill the victim on his hips, but he died anyway. Pater, and the murder is not Chayiv Misa, since the actual blow that he ended up striking was not strong enough to kill, the victim presumably died from some other cause. This guy, if someone intended to hit an adult, although and the blow was not strong enough to kill the adult, accidentally landed on a child instead. And was strong enough to kill the child, and the child died. Pater, the murderer is not chayiv to the death penalty because he did not intend to kill. The opposite case. This guy will hakos as sakatan. If someone intended to hit a child, and the blow is strong enough to kill the child, that accidentally landed on an adult instead. Below it was not strong enough to kill the adult, but the adult died anyway. Pater, the murderer is not chayiv the death penalty because the blow that he struck was not strong enough to cause the death, so the victim presumably died from different cause. On the sky, and Hakos al Masna, if he intended to hit someone on his lips, the blow was strong enough to kill him on his lips, and certainly strong enough to kill him on his chest. And he accidentally landed on his chest instead of the mace, and he died. He's chayiv misa, because he intended to kill and blow. He actually struck, or strong enough to kill. The scar in the hakus is a gadol. Similarly, if he intended to hit an adult, the hakus is a gadol, and the blow is strong enough to kill the adult, certainly strong enough to kill a child. And accidentally landed on a child instead. The mace and the child died. Chayiv, he is chayiv misa, because here he intended to kill, and the blow he struck was strong enough to kill. Therefore, he's chayiv misa. Rabbi Shimon says, I feel in the sky in the harag as zeh pater. Even if he intended to kill one person but accidentally killed another person instead, he's not chayav misa, because he did not intend to kill the actual victim. Okay, Mishnah Gimel. Let's say murder is mixed among other people, and we cannot tell them apart from the others. Kulam Peturim, all of them, including the murderer, are exempt from the death penalty, since we do not know which one he is. Rabbi Yehuda says, so lakipa. We may bring all the oxen into a cell and leave them there to die. They do not have to be stoned. Okay, moving on. So, and the next call chayve misos shenis arvu zeh b'zeh nidunim bekala. In all cases, when people were sentenced to death become mixed with one another, does not know which person is supposed to receive which type of death penalty. They are all punished the slightest of the penalties to which they are chayiv. You, you cannot punish someone who's chayiv a lighter penalty with a harsh penalty, because that's more than he deserves. However, someone who is chayiv to a harsh penalty may be punished with a lighter penalty, because the harsh penalty includes all the lighter ones. And it's as if he was sentenced to the lighter one as well. So let's see what's going on here. Haniskalim bin Israel. People who are chayiv skila become mixed with people who are chayiv streifa. Rabbi Shimon Amar Nidonim b'skila streifa chamura. Rabbi Shimon says that all of them are punished with skila, with stoning, because burning is harsher than stoning. But the Chachamim say that all of them are punished with streifa, with burning, because that stoning is the harsh penalty. Rabbi Shimon said to the Chachamim, if burning was not the harshest, it was not harsher than stoning, it would not be applied to the daughter of a Kohen who committed adultery. Rather, she be punished with stoning, since the Torah says that the Kohen's daughter is chayiv sreifa, whereas a non-Kohen's daughter is chayiv skila. We see that the burning is the harsher of the two penalties. Amrullah, they said to him, the Chacham responded to Rishimim, Ve'elu lo haisa skila chamura, nitna megadev u'lovid v'azar. If skila is not the harshest of all the death penalties, it would not be applied to one who curses Hashem, or to one who worships idols, which are the most serious crimes. Since the Torah applies the penalty of stoning in these cases, we see that stoning is the harshest penalty. And people the people who are chayiv for beheading become mixed with people who are chayiv for strangling, chenek. Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Shimon says that all of them are punished by the sword, by beheading, because beheading is a lighter form of execution than strangling, than chenek. Sorry. Chachamim bechenek, The Chachamim say that all of them are punished with strangling, because according to the Chachamim, strangling is the lighter penalty. If someone did two sins thereby became chayav to two different death penalties and based in he is punished with the harsh penalty. Avar Veresh is chayav shtemis is if someone performed a prohibited act that is subject to two different death penalties. For example, he had beer with his mother-in-law, which is the penalty of sreifa, who was married at the time, and that's the penalty of strangling, of chenek. Nida v'chavura, he is punished with the harsher of the two penalties, which is sreifa. Yossi, however, disagrees. Nidon Zika Harishana Sheba Alav. He is punished with the penalty for the first issue that applied to him. So since he was chayiv for he was chayiv chenek first, then that's what he's chayiv for. Mishnah Hey. If someone did a chait that carries the onish, the penalty of kares and malchus, meaning that he's punished by Shemaim with kares unless the beis din punishes him with malchus, and he received malchus, and then he did that chait and received malchus again, he does not receive a third set of malchus should he do that sin a third time. Based on Machnisin, also the kibbutz, rather the court places him in a cell where they feed him small amounts of bread and water to make his stomach shrink. Then they feed him barley bread until his stomach bursts and he dies. It's a really excuse me. If someone kills another person without witnesses, but the court is sure that the court is sure that he committed the crime. Or at least also the key by the court places him in a cell, and they feed him small amounts of bread and limited amounts of water to make his stomach shrink. And then they feed him barley bread until his stomach bursts and dies. And Mishnah Vav, Hagonev es Hakisvav. If someone steals a sacred vessel, a kli sharis, a kli that was used in the Beis Hamikdash. If someone curses the name of Hashem using a false god, or someone has been with an Aramean woman in public, Kanai Pogimbo, then zealots, pious people who sincerely care about the honor of Hashem may attack him. We learned this from Pinchas, who killed Zimri and Cosby for this very thing. Kohen if a Kohen deliberately serves the Beis Hamikdash when he is tamei, and Achav HaKohanim Avila, so the beis din, his brothers, the other Kohanim, do not need to bring him to beis din to receive his punishment of malchus. Perek are so close to Azara. Rather, the young Kohanim may take him outside the courtyard so as not to defile the Azara with any tumah. And Umafsiyan Asmocho Yitzie, and they split his skull with wooden logs. That was in order to kill him immediately. They used the wooden logs that were available in the Beis Hamikdash. They did not wait for a sword or other weapons to be brought. They killed him right away. If you're doing a voda with tumah. Zar Sheshinish B'Mikdash. If a non-Kohen serves in the Beis Hamikdash, we keep Omer Chenek, Q says that the court it executes him according to strangling. Chachamim Omrim B'Shamayim. The Chachamim say he is put to death by the hands of heaven. We don't take any physical action. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue tomorrow with Perek Yud. Have a wonderful day.